Can you read me?
Fake carrots. Fake fruit. Fake. Fake. Fake grapefruits. Fake. Liar! You liar!
Every single day. Hey, there's Zoom-Man. What's happening, man?
Oh, geez. I guess we forgot to turn my camera off before the show.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. And there goes Zoom-Man. Either are you coming or you going? Sometimes we just don't know. I'll tell you what.
I'm confused most of the time. So
Yeah, there it is. I tell you, folks, you got to be kidding me with what's happening in the world and around the world. I started with that kind of SHTF extraordinaire piece. And why not? Russia captured, a Leopard tank, Bradley vehicles, engines still running, abandoned by Ukraine. Russia goes, hey, those are our trophies. You got to be fucking kidding. How many millions of dollars, how many billions of dollars have we given them in equipment, cash, et cetera, et cetera? And this is what happens. This is what happens. I mean, Biden has sent another $325 million in security aid over to Ukraine. And that was after giving him $2.1 billion the other day. Where is all this money going? To who? Now, let's just assume for a second. Let's assume for just a little bit that the complaints about Biden are true, that he was bribed with $5 million. So that sack of fully loathable piece of shit, he sold our country hundreds of millions and billions of dollars for $5 million. That's all it takes to buy. He gets, that's not 10%, folks. That's not the big guy getting his 10% cut. How many more millions has he gotten? How many more millions will he get after his administration gets run out of office? What kind of speaking fees will he be paid by the military-industrial complex for all the millions and billions of dollars in shit they've sent over there? Just so the Ukrainians can drive it up to the front line and then get out and run away. Total embarrassment. We're supposed to believe the Ukrainian military is going to stand up and fight against the Russians. It doesn't matter if you give them Tiger tanks or fighting Bradleys or even M1A1 Abrams. It doesn't matter. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Their military commanders are morons. Their advisors from the Pentagon are idiots too. What are they winning? The only thing they can do is sneak into an area and occupy underground tunnels until they're smoked out of their holes. Russia's like, these are our trophies. How hard was that, folks? Engines still running. Well, shit, never been shot and only been abandoned once in war, huh? Just, it's incredible. You gotta be kidding. I just keep saying that. You just gotta be fucking kidding me. Just like Biden abandoned $85 billion in one swift move, abandon our allies, abandon our own people, not just defense workers, but civilians. Abandon them all, abandon the people of Afghanistan, abandon all our efforts, abandon it. Here you go, Taliban, have all this money, have all this equipment, have all this land, all this resources, all the infrastructure the United States government and other governments built for Afghanistan, just handed right over to these freaking cavemen. There you go. Just fine. Unbelievable, right? I've seen a monkey use a tool. They're about as proficient at handling technology as people like the Taliban. They figure it out. They couldn't recreate it. They couldn't make it themselves, but they'll certainly use what's stolen from us and given to them. And that's basically what Biden's doing again. He's stealing from us and giving to them another $325 million. I mean, you and I, just normal people, we would love to have $1 million, just one. And it takes a lifetime to earn it, and half of it you pay back in fucking taxes anyways. Wow. What do you want to talk about? Get your comments down below. This is the Prepared Mind channel. If you're not here, you're not getting all the facts. You're not getting all the truth. You're not getting all the opinions, because we try and cover everything we can every day. And thank you for being on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. $2 a month. It's only 7 cents a day. And it supports this channel and what we do. Now, let's keep going, right? 10 weeks after having Dylan Mulvaney, Transheiser-Busch, Transheiser-Busch is still taking a shit. They're down 27% and falling. Folks, the collapse is not done. Keep boycotting Transheiser-Busch, Bud Light, Kohl's, Target. Boycott them all. Boycott them all. Call them on the phone, text them, send them an email, tell them how stupid they are, and quit buying their shit. They're pushing for violence, though, folks. That's really what they want. They're pushing for violence. I mean, imagine this. Imagine you got a kid who's been confused by his teachers at school and all the propaganda. And so you move to another state, a state that is a red state. And then Wisconsin comes out with a 4-part resolution to become a trans and non-binary sanctuary. So children can go across the border into Wisconsin without parental consent and get their drugs and their reassignment surgeries all taken care of. It's pure evil again, folks. You got to be fucking kidding. A state is allowing foreign children from other states without their parents' consent. You can't sign up for the military without your parents' consent. You can't buy a car without your parents signing on the dotted line. But you can cut off your nutsack. You can saw off your tits. You can take drugs that chemically castrate you and fuck you up forever, no problem. The reason they have parental consent for minors is because they're minors. And by the way, I think that if Wisconsin wants to allow themselves to be a fruitcake sanctuary, then let them have all the fruitcakes. I feel as bad for the people of Wisconsin who are decent humans as I do for those who live in California and other blue states. I feel terrible for you. But these people are sick fruitcakes, and they need to be taken out of office by whatever means legally necessary. And it's going to come to that, folks. It's going to come down to people getting drug out of their offices legally and tossed to the street lawfully and curb stomped legally for what they've done. Now, in my opinion, folks, states can prosecute for crimes that have happened in their state. So, for example, Billy says to his dad, "Dad, I want to cut off my nutsack." And Dad says, "No, you're not doing that." So Billy goes to his Uncle Idiot. And Uncle Idiot says, "I'll drive you from state A to Wisconsin." Well, if state A says you're not allowed to transport a child for the purpose of crossing the state line so they can get a trans surgery, that is illegal. They can do that. They can make that a crime so that Uncle Idiot can go to jail forever for that. And people go, "Oh, you can't do that." Well, no, the state, when you cross the state line, that was where the crime was committed. Folks, in California, you cannot sell a horse that is to be transported out of state for the purpose of it being processed for human consumption anywhere else on the planet. So don't tell me they can't pass a law that forbids you committing an act that in another state would be legal, but they can forbid the action of doing that. So once again, We can use California and other Democrat states and use their own rules and their own system against them. And it is, folks, it is Taco Tuesday, by the way, and I hope everyone's got tacos on their mind. I do. I can't wait to have a taco. I think I'm going to have a taco tonight. But we've got a long way to go before we can get there, don't we? We got 50 more minutes of unbelievable, you got to be kidding me, bullshit to talk about. And of course, I want your questions, your thoughts, your topics. I'm going to stick with the stuff I want to talk about because I know you guys have particular questions, a particular angle you want to cover with the big enchilada. That's right, Taco Tuesday, and we got some big enchilada news as well. Really, folks, really. Now, remember Jussie Smollett, the failing and failed TV star who was a homosexual black man whose career was going down the toilet. He decided to take advantage of the racial, shall we say, volatility in the country. And he staged, right? Someone put a noose around his neck, and they put a MAGA hat on him, and they put gasoline on him, and whatever else they were supposedly have done, right? And they're going to kill him because he went out to get a Subway sandwich at 1:30 in the morning when it was like 2 degrees out. All the most unbelievable shit happened to Jussie Smollett, right? Trying to stir up racial anger and tension. What a jackass. Who the fuck would do that? Seriously, who would do that? Wanting to get sympathy from people, filed a false police report, and of course he didn't go to prison for that. Anyway, a Democrat politician is a Jussie Smollett wannabe. Jussie Smollett. Right? He came out and tried saying that a conservative protester punched him. And then, folks, a video came out and he changed his story. Not only is he a Jussie Smollett wannabe, but this is showing us exactly what the left is. One more time, they will say anything, they will do anything, they will lie, cheat, and steal. There is no integrity to being a socialist. They'll lie about anything. I tell you, they'll say anything, folks, and they mean it. They are that stupid. They are that ignorant. They're that full of hate, these left-wing dumb fucks. Now, I want to take it upstairs. In the Republican Party, Congressman Andy Ogles, who is a Republican, who is from Tennessee, he has now introduced articles of impeachment against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's right. Okay, where is the Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy? He's supposed to be a Republican. Where is he? Where is he? Where is the shitheel? This morning I talked about all the hidden information, the fact that the mainstream media doesn't want to see the facts here or the facts there or anything else. Where the fuck is he? Where's the media? They don't see the Biden crimes. They don't see the FBI crimes. They don't see the Hunter crimes. It's all about Trump, folks. And I don't see how this isn't election interference, because I have a funny feeling that even Trump is going to get justice and that they're going to throw the freaking charges out at some point. This is a smear campaign using political power. This is complete horse shit. When you looked at Bill Clinton had top secret documents, that fucking Joe Biden has box loads at multiple locations, unsecured, and even stored next to his Corvette in his garage. Really, no problem there. Well, it's not about Biden, John. It's about Trump and the fact that he has broken the law and no one's above the law. Well, is Joe Biden above the law? Why is he not being arrested? What about Hunter Biden? What about Christopher Wray? What about James Comey? What about Hillary Clinton? What about Barack Hussein, insane Barry Soetoro Obama? What about all these people on the left? Right? What about Obama's attorney general, who let all those fully automatic assault rifles, real assault rifles, Eric Holder's Fast and Furious, the attorney general turned loose weapons of war in Mexico in an effort to smear America over our gun rights. No problem there. Well, we've got an answer. We've got a solution. We have one avenue to take care of things, and it would be impeaching the old fuck. And I know that the Senate would not convict him if they even held a trial at all. But here we are, folks. They want to bring up Trump. They want to condemn Trump. You bet. And by the way, Carrie Lake's song, I didn't know she could sing, and I haven't listened to it. Apparently she has a song, what is it, like 91 million votes. I don't fucking think so, as their song. Anyways, I think it's in the top 10, if not the top 5, maybe even the top 3 iTunes songs out there. Yeah. But yeah, articles of impeachment against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Marge Taylor Greene, representative out of Georgia, introduced articles of impeachment against Mayorkas, Christopher Wray, Merrick Garland, the attorney general, and Biden 2 weeks ago, 2 freaking weeks ago. Where, when, how was it even introduced on the House floor? Was it even introduced? Is Kevin McCarthy holding it back and stopping it? Why isn't he out there spearheading it as the political leader of the Republicans, spearheading it? He should be out in front, getting support. Unbelievable. We got a good turnout here tonight on the Prepared Mind channel at thepreparedmind.club. Subscribe star. I'm glad everyone is showing up. Get your questions down below. We got some good stuff coming up, as if we haven't already, right? And this is incredible, right? If Trump is found guilty, let's just assume Trump is guilty of all this, and the jury down there is honest, and they're really going to deliberate this, right? They're going to deliberate it. Trump would face 400 years in prison if he is found guilty on all charges. This is what this is about, folks. You know what? Let me fucking break it to you this way. Jill Biden, Dr. Jill, wife of one of the biggest scumbags on the planet. And I thought Clinton was a scumbag, and he is, and she is. But the Bidens have turned out to be just loathsome, snarky, East Coast New England pieces of shit. Jill Biden wants to know, she's confused. Why is it that Republicans still want Trump to be president? They don't get it. They've done everything they can to crap on him, to arrest him, to ruin his reputation, to smear him, to destroy him. Yet Republicans still support him. Why? He's more popular than ever now. Why? They just don't get it. Folks, they're that fucking stupid. They're that stupid. Now, the one way to get rid of Biden, I'm going to go over some, so let's just call it political and paramilitary theory. This is theory. Not recommending anyone do this, anyone at all. I was asked, how do we get rid of Biden? I said, well, number one, you impeach him, and then the Senate convicts him of his crimes, and then they throw him out of office. That's his punishment. The other way to fix things is something that I can't do. I wish I could, but I can't. But let me tell you, folks, it is going to take a lightning fast paramilitary action to fix the problems. It's not a bunch of run-of-the-mill ding-dong Americans wanting to protest. Yeah, if I went there, I would be another ding-dong American protesting in Washington, D.C. I was told that the belief system was this person that they're like, I just can't see any way to fix this short of a coup d'etat. And I was like, okay, a coup d'etat it is. How is that even going to be accomplished? A removal of the Biden administration, a takeover of the government to restore the Constitution and our republic, and to take it out of the hands of these losers in Washington. How would that happen? There would have to be an entire substitute administration ready to come in and take over. So who has the clout to do this? Trump couldn't even put people in the White House that were truly lovers of America. Everyone he seemed to put in there, with the exception of a very rare few, were a bunch of deep state, sellout, rhino pieces of shit. And they turned on Trump left and right. I think Peter Navarro was one of the few. I think Dr. Atlas, he's a doctor. What about military personnel? Well, we found out Mad Dog Mattis was just a Mad Dog sellout, along with many of the others. Unfucking believable, folks. It truly is. It would take someone or some group and with an incredible amount of clout in the military to secretly put an organization together without others knowing that would turn on them and turn them in. Take quite a bit of secrecy, don't you think, in today's highly communicative day and age to put together a group. So let me ask you this. If one of these such groups, say a group of 200 men and women, dedicated patriots, who were willing to put their lives on the line, because you would have to. And unlike a protracted war where it's battle after battle after battle after battle, to commit a coup d'etat and make it work, you've got to win. You've got one shot at it. It has to be done very quickly, cleanly, and you only get that one. And if you are not successful, you are then arrested, you get a military tribunal, and you're killed instantly as a traitor. That is the only other way to get rid of Biden, though, folks, is a coup to throw him out, to throw out Congress, and even to throw out the Supreme Court of the United States and say, this just isn't going to fly anymore. Everything they've done is unlawful and unconstitutional, and we need to wipe the books clean. We need to wipe the case law clean. We need to take the Constitution, put it front and center, right next to the Declaration of Independence, right next to our traditions and culture of morality, decency, and start again. Again, am I saying that that is what I'm doing? Hell no, I'm not doing that. I'd make it about 5 feet outside my front door before I get tackled for it. So I'm not promoting it, encouraging it, suggesting it. I'm saying that's what it would take. A bunch of very powerful people in very powerful places capable of pulling off such a stunt. It wouldn't be a stunt. It would be a major victory. Now, let me ask you this, though. If that happened in Washington, D.C., if it came on the news, good golly, a coup d'etat has just happened in Washington. The White House has been overrun by a bunch of terrorists, right, from the military. They've taken over the White House. They've secured the Congress. And they're in communication at the Pentagon. It appears they've taken over the Pentagon too. Yeah, folks, that would be one hell of a thing. What would you do? Let me ask you that. What would you do if that happened? And this is not trust the plan or Q or any other bullshit. No one else is talking about this. I just thought I would say, hey, you want your country back? A coup d'etat would be the fastest way. Now, what would you do? Would you go to Washington to help? Would you go to your state capital and say, I support it? Would you get on the phone and call people? Would you text others and say, look at this shit? What would you do if that happened? Now, number one, we couldn't be sure what the coup supported. Is that a communist coup? Is it a republic trying to shake the cancer off of itself? You wouldn't know. You would just know that something really crazy was going on. Right, that's all you would know. I don't see any other way out of this. Vote your way out of it, impeach your way out of it, or coup d'etat your way out of it, America. That's where we're at. Oh, yeah. and secession. Just leave Washington and say, F you, we're done with you, and leave it behind. As Louisiana suggests, anything the United States government in Washington, D.C. does that is unconstitutional or violates the rights of Louisiana and the people of Louisiana, they're just not going to enforce it or allow it. And I think that's a great idea. That is one hell of a start. But seriously, think about it. What would you do if that happened? If a coup occurred in Washington? What if they had control of Washington for one day and then another day? The mainstream media is losing their minds, but this coup d'etat holds Washington for 3 days. Would you be supporting it online? Would you be calling your friends and saying you need to support this? How would you behave? What actions would you take? And then I'll ask you this. On day 5, the current regime takes control again, and they take it back from the patriots, and they say, damn it, we're socialists and we love it that way. We love our bullshit democracy where mob rules. And anyone who supported the coup d'etat is now an enemy of the state. And we're coming for you. We're going to go through your emails, your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram. We're going to go through everything, your text messages on your phone, and we're going to find you people that supported that. So again, if it occurred, what would you do? Would you support it? Would you risk that? Because whoever does that, folks, whoever would even try that, would be risking everything. Their lives, their family, and their fortunes. Well, some people might say, John, why would there be a coup? Why that even be needed? Well, let me tell you, folks, other countries own Joe Biden. You want to know why Joe just sent $325 million on top of the $2.1 billion, on top of the $125 billion sent before that? Well, there is someone who is involved in the bribery scheme with Joe Biden that has 17 different, separate, indistinct or distinct audio recordings of Joe and Hunter Biden. It was the insurance policy this person kept. And Senator, U.S. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley, he has revealed that they have this, that there is a Burisma power, right? Burisma Energy. A Ukrainian corporation was bribing the Bidens, offering them money to be their bitch. So is it so hard to believe that Biden would send how many billions? Over $125 billion now in equipment, money, support. Send it over there. How much did they pay him? I don't think 5 million is enough, folks. 5 million maybe for a $50 million. Here you go, Ukraine. That'd be 10%. Folks, for Joe Biden to get 10% of what he's given, right? Because the big guy likes his 10%, he would be getting $12.5 billion on what he has given to Ukraine so far. Tell me, folks, if 5 million even touches, it comes near that. That's right, folks. Senator Grassley now says he has 17 different audio recordings. I want them to go reveal them, release them. There needs to be a Justice Department, an Attorney General that'll prosecute. Take the evidence and do something with it. Enough of this bullshit. For the love of God, release it to the American people so we can hear it. And by not doing that, by hiding it from us and just saying, well, yeah, we got it, then America stays asleep. The Democrats can deny it. Put Joe Biden's voice out there. Put Hunter Biden's voice out there so we can hear him taking the money, asking for the money, asking for more. If that's what it is, let us hear it. Totally let us hear it. I mean, Rudy Giuliani says he has the chief Burisma accountant. And not only her, but 4 of her coworkers. And they're willing to testify that the Bidens were bribed with millions of dollars. Who bribed who? Who's bribing who? How is Biden not being arrested? How is there not criminal charges? So we got Rudy Giuliani, we've got Representative Comer, we've got Senator Grassley, and the Bidens are out there while fucking Trump is arrested for having documents that he said were declassified. Oh, there's going to be some stupid. There is some stupid coming very soon to a violent theater near you. All right. Just unbelievable. I mean, folks, these people are wacky. They're crazy. Well, let me just give you a trans activist was in a weekend protest, a pride protest. Trans activist dragging a woman by her hair through the protest scene. These people are violent as fuck. They're dangerous. They're out of control. And they think everything's just fine. These groomers, these scumbags, these child fucking pedos. Where's the impeachment? Where's the arrests? You know, it's incredible to me. Tucker Carlson received a cease and desist letter from Fox News. You know, they wanted to shut him up. So they fired him. Okay, you fired him, you're done. When you fire someone, you negate the whole contract. You're done. The contract is now broke. You no longer pay, I no longer stay. They want him to shut up. He doesn't work at Fox anymore. Well, they have a non-compete clause. Well, I'm sure they violate. He can make any claim he wants to. So yeah, Fox News is threatening, right? Because Tucker's Twitter videos exceeded 100 million views. Good for Tucker. Fuck you to Fox. Keep bringing the facts and the truth out, folks. That's really what needs to happen. Let's do this now. I know I've been going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Let's go to Ask John Live. All right, part 2 of the show. It's the Q&A. What do you guys want to talk about? What's on your mind? Ooman says, like I always say, any state can flip in 1 or 2 election cycles. Wisconsin has been purple, meaning it's a mixture of red and blue. It's been purple for a while, but really went woke-tard in the last elections. Well, now that I'm allowed to talk about election fraud, election interference, voter fraud, vote machine fuckery, and everything else, I'll just say this. Wisconsin was one of those states where there were more votes than registered voters. I wonder if anything silly happened there. Wisconsin was one of those states where rhino Republicans were never Trumpers. I wonder how that went. Wisconsin, one of those states, folks, that the Democrats have really controlled the vote counting. I wonder how about that, right? Yeah, it's definitely purple. What happens, folks, is the Democrats have gotten a hold of the election scheme. Again, how do you get rid of Hunter's daddy? Let's see, you can have a coup d'etat, very dangerous, marginally legal, right? Let's see, you can impeach him, which has never been successful to impeach and remove a president. And then there's elections. That's how you get rid of a president, short of just doing secession and saying, you're not my president anymore, and the federal government can go fuck itself. States are, folks, by the way, States are sovereign entities. Every state is its own. It just can choose whether or not it wants to belong to the union. Funny how the federal government doesn't like the fact that a state may leave. The same way an abusive spouse doesn't like that a spouse, their controlled victim, they don't want them to leave. All right, let's do this, man. Jolene, you're both here in the house with me. Spiritually, philosophically, we're all here in the internet. Who wants to step up next? We've got Orlando. He says, hey, John, do you think kids are going to pull away from playing Call of Duty now that they've joined the LGBTQ mob? Funny shit, man. Yeah. The concept of war, of men, this masculine feel of I'm going to defend my family and defend my country, right? I'm willing to go kick someone's ass over it in another country. I think that the LGBTQ mob doesn't want to play Call of Duty. They want to have a game called Protest of Duty, where they don't go after people from another country that are evil and bad. They go after other citizens in this country that they say are bad. They would love that because the trans group have proven themselves to be a bunch of very violent, psychotic scumbags. So they would love to play that, folks. Kill your own countrymen in the new, right, call of protest, the protest of duty, right? But these people, it's pretty funny. Are they going to stop playing Call of Duty now that they're feminized? They're a little light in the loafers from their trans drugs. Folks, these people, anyone who does this to a child is awful. But they're feeding children something. Well, apart from the lies that they force feed them every day. They're guilting children. They're using psychological operations, psychological warfare, psychological manipulation, psychological criminality to push these children to accept the trans crap. I mean, literally 2 years ago when you started hearing about this, take your kids down to a drag queen show. It's fine. I was like, who the fuck would do that? How is that even a good idea? This is just a couple weirdos. And within a couple years, you've got kids everywhere, right, that want to be a girl when they're a guy. Why would you even want that? Except it is, we should all want to be women because women are awesome. Well, you should want to be who you are. They hate themselves so much that they reject themselves. They're told to hate their country. They're told to hate their parents. They're told to hate their race. They're told to hate their law. They're told to hate their traditions, their cultures, everything about America. No wonder they hate themselves too. So they want to change themselves. But you can't change who you are any more than a tiger can change its stripes. Okay, Jolene, who do we want to put up next? We've got Chin Music. And he says, John, don't forget Lois Lerner, the Obama IRS hack. Lois Lerner was in charge of the IRS during the Obama administration. He weaponized the Internal Revenue Service. The Internal Revenue Service has always been feared to be used as a political tool. And it was. The IRS under Lois Lerner went after patriots. They went after the Tea Party, which was a bunch of old people, my age and older, who wanted to have a political action group, right? A political action committee, a political, shall we say, lobbying organization to try and stop the government from screwing us over with our taxes. The Tea Party. They went after them. They went after everybody that had a 501c3 that Obama's administration didn't like. Lois Lerner was a complete hack. She was also, as far as I'm concerned, a treasonous piece of shit. She took an oath to defend the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, the same way every other bureaucrat, police officer, military person, government official, government agent, government employee, etc. takes. And she violated that oath. Intentionally, knowingly, committed that act against multiple, numerous groups. Not only, it wasn't just Lois Lerner, folks, it was all her subordinates, her freaking minions, to go out and threaten and intimidate and punish people using government power and authority. That's why I say, wouldn't it be silly? And I'm not recommending anyone do this because it would be dangerous and harmful, but wouldn't it be silly to see an IRS employee that had chocolate syrup poured on them to simulate tar and feathers thrown at them? So they're tarred and feathered. So everyone sees that they're a chicken shit, that they're a carpetbagger, that they're scum. Well, folks, I think we're going to see a lot of this. Right? I think we're going to see a lot more of this, maybe from both sides as the violence steps up. Folks, if I was an IRS agent, I wouldn't want my neighbors to know what I did and who I was. I'd be embarrassed as fuck. But they're proud of their jobs, folks, because they work for the Obama-Biden administration. Obama-Biden administration. And they'll do anything to keep their power. They'll do anything to keep their power. Wow. Anyways, thank you there, Chin Music. I appreciate it mightily. And Jolene, where do we want to go next? What road do we want to go down? It is name redacted. He says, "Oh, John, we need Jared Kushner back advising the Orange Man." Orange Man. Orange Man bad. You know, I still enjoy watching Trump piss off the left. And they're pissed at him. They hate him. They fucking hate Trump. They're willing to do anything to Trump, including lying, cheating, stealing, weaponizing the government to go after him. They need him out of this election, folks. He gets more powerful every time they go after him. They are risking, these left-wing lunatics, they themselves are risking creating an anti-Hitler. The more shit they do to him, if he wins back the White House, folks, by hook or by crook, he wins back the White House. I don't see why he wouldn't go after them. Folks, if I was Trump and I was innocent and I got back in the White House, I would dissolve every federal bureaucracy that pissed me off. I would start with the FBI and I would send them packing. I would send them packing. The IRS, done. You guys are done. CIA, you're done. Department of Justice, you're done. Attorney General, you're done. I'm clearing. Everyone's fired. Just like that. Homeland Security, done. Department of Justice, everyone, you're cleared out. Just get rid of them and start again. Folks, it was interesting. 20 years ago, Jesse the Body Ventura, right? Former governor of Minnesota, was asked, will you run for president? And he was kind of serious about running for president, right? As a Washington outsider, as a man of the people. And he's, basically, he was attacked by the media. He was attacked by political opponents. He was feared. But what he said was, people, if he was president, he would take extreme actions to fix the problems. And that people wouldn't like that, and there'd be a whole lot of fear about it, right? Because he would have to take extreme action. He said the only way to fix the problems, and this was Jesse the Body Ventura, right? Actor, wrestler, former Navy SEAL, etc. He said the only way to fix the problems would to become a dictator. It's a very scary proposition. He was honest about it. You would have to become a dictator to fix the problems. Why is that? Because the problems are so deep-seated, so deep-rooted, that Washington is so full of snakes and slithering scumbags that what? You couldn't get rid of them. AKA, you can't just drain the swamp. I've seen alligators laying out on the highway. I've seen alligators not in the water. They don't need the swamp. They can live without the swamp just fine. They just wander into the yard and start eating dogs and cats, I guess. Anyways, yeah. He felt that in order to fix the problems, he would need to be a dictator, and people wouldn't want to elect that. He was being honest. Extreme actions are going to need to be taken to clean out Washington. The other option is just to get rid of the need for Washington. States form another union, kind of like the South started the Confederacy and said, we just don't want to be in the same room as you anymore. We're done with you. We don't need you up north. Folks, I'll tell you what, why was the North needed by the South 150 years ago? Well, they were needed because the North had all of the industry and the South was agricultural. So the North needed the South, and the South truly did need the North. But they were willing to say, we're done with you. We'll get our industrial goods elsewhere from Europe. We'll trade with them directly. We don't need you. Now, what does the North do? What is created north of the Mason-Dixon line? What is, seriously, manufacturing of automobiles? They're made down south. Food, still grown down south. Industry in this country up north isn't needed. Everything can be outsourced. It can come from Mexico. It can come from Brazil. It can come from other countries. It can come from across the Atlantic or across the Pacific. You don't need the North anymore. Washington, D.C. is not needed by other countries, right? The BRICS nations are getting rid of their dollars. They're threatening Washington, D.C. with economic sanctions now. Economic sanctions that they can throw at the U.S. These little chicken shit countries, which forever owed America at least a modicum of respect, if not allegiance, are now like, you know what? Fuck you, America, for your abuse. But why would the states of America, why would we stay in this shithole relationship? That's what I think is coming down to. It's all going to come to that. If they want to save the Union, they better get rid of whatever that thing is that's in the White House and whatever philosophy runs Washington, D.C. All of these woke idiots and scumbags. Look out. And again, I'm not promoting or calling for insurrection or violence or anything of the nature. We're just having a satirical, philosophical discussion. All right, let us move on if we shall. We've got, who do we got? Where are we at? Who's up next, Jolene? Who's on first? It is Chin Music again. Stepping back in, he says, the old saying goes, quote, if you're going to take a shot at the king, you better not miss. And using the term king very loosely here. Yeah, once again, that is correct. Now, here's the problem. Thank you, Jolene. Here's the problem with Washington, D.C. You cannot take out the king and expect anything to change. Not at all. Now, back in 1963, November 20th, was it 21st, JFK was shot in the head after being shot many other places. His administration came to a very, very fast end. And Lyndon Baines Johnson stepped from vice president into the presidential role in short order. And his policies were implemented immediately. And that was a very successful coup d'etat, right? Some claim it was one bullet, the magic bullet, right, was there. And anyways, they changed America forever with that bullet, the last one that just took Kennedy's head off. If someone were to assassinate Biden, would anything change? There is not a radical, right-wing, republic-loving American in the vice president's seat or in the Speaker of the House seat. Nope, it's not there. It's just not there. So you can't change anything by assassinating Biden. You can't change the attitude and the culture of Washington, D.C., even with a full magazine of bullets. It can't happen. So that's why I'm not promoting it. That's why I don't think it's a good idea. You're not fixing anything. In fact, you may make it worse by multiplying the stupid factor. The stupid factor. I mean, they don't even know if they're coming or going in Washington, D.C., folks. I mean, there was a trans influencer. What is a trans influencer? It's somebody on social media that's a trans person who is trying to convince more children to do exactly what they did. So this trans influencer flashed their chest with, of course, boob inserts to make it look like this person had boobs, but it's a male. It has a penis. So this trans influencer flashed his fake breasts at Biden, at the Biden Pride event. That person is now banned from the White House. Are you serious? This is how confused they are. What, Biden? You're ashamed of a trans? Those aren't real boobies. Men are allowed to exist without their shirts. Women are not. That wasn't a woman. So what are you ashamed of? See, Biden is ashamed of trans. He's a transphobe, just like the rest of the White House. Now Biden is going to pretend like they have morals and integrity and decency. Freaking ridiculous, folks. These people are insane, and they're off their fucking rockers, and they're out of their minds, and shit has hit the fan, and you just got to be fucking kidding with everything that's happening. Jolene, let's do some more. What do you guys want to talk about? I've been talking about all kinds of shit. And we got Mr. X. He says, John, if they can do this to Trump, what do you think they can do with you and me, aka the people? And that is exactly why. They can do anything they want. If they can frame Trump, they can frame me and you. If they can smear Trump in the media, they can smear me and you. And they don't smear us individually, Mr. X. There's no need to smear us individually. They smear us collectively, as a group. They paint all of us with the same broad brush of hate. We're so hateful. I'm not hateful at all. I love my country. Democrats and the media hate this country. I love our culture, our traditions in America. It is the Democrats and the media and the trans fruitcakes that hate our culture and traditions. I love our laws, our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution. They are the ones that hate it and are trying to destroy it. Who is trying to uphold good and who is trying to crush and destroy? Yep. So they've got no problem crushing and destroying me and you. And if they can do it to Trump, they'll do it to us. And that is why I will not allow myself to be arrested. Why would I? So I can end up in prison and rot there, be tortured, be visited with all manner of illness and filth and disgusting food that who knows what would be done to it before it was served to me. So I could starve in prison or choose disease and filth. Would they inject me with their disgusting, filthy mRNA crap against my will? They could do whatever they want to me, right? The same way they can do whatever they want to those people up in Washington, D.C. in the Gulag, in the American Bastille. Anyways, thank you, Mr. X. Great topic. Folks, think about it. If they can do this to Trump, what can they do to you? So once again, if something were to happen in Washington, would you support it on the internet? Would you support it in person, in some form or fashion in your state? Would you be fearful that you would be called an insurrectionist? Folks, I fear other things. I fear failing what I consider to be really important, my belief system. I fear that I would fail myself in what I believe and stand for. I fear that more than these people. Put a bullet in my head. I won't have to worry about it anymore. But I'll die being a man. All right, let's go on. Let's move with this. We'll see what happens, folks. We're all going to find out. We all get to play this game, like it or not. Name redacted. What do you have to say, brother? Throwing them out hasn't been possible since the church hearings of 1976. To defeat your enemy, you have to identify and expose them. Most people don't know anything about who the cabal is. Well, in a lot of ways, Trump was very instrumental in doing just that, name redacted. He said they're the swamp. He named them. He called out who the cabal was. And we all discovered that the cabal, the cadre, as Steny Hoyer called them, the cadre of scumbags is the entire Washington, D.C. apparatus. The lawyers, the perverts, the fruitcakes, the pizza makers, all of them. All of them. He'd put them in his administration and they would shit on him and stab him in the back. He would try getting his legislation passed, and he was interfered with by both the Democrats and the Republicans. Who does that tell you? Who are they? They're the cabal. The major corporations. They hated Trump until they needed to use him to what? To buy and sell and distribute their bombs, missiles, and weapons, or their medications. I know who the enemy is, folks. It's everybody in Washington that doesn't believe exactly as I do, that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and that our rights are inalienable, and that the government owes us allegiance, not the other way around. Let us move on. Jolene, we're coming to the end of the show. I want to make sure I get all the questions up on the screen. And it's Chin Music. And he says, John, I heard Pox. Intentional typo for Fox. I heard Pox is paying Tucker through 25. That's how they are trying to shut him up. Wonder if anyone can confirm. Well, that would make sense. That they would say, hey, we're going to pay you and we're going to live by the money, right? Now, they can say that, Chin, but does it stand? Is he allowed to breach the contract the same way they did and just fire him and take him off the air? Does he have a right to free speech as a human being? I don't know. I don't know, but he is reaching out. Now, if Tucker doesn't take money and continues to speak, is that illegal? Right? Your free speech. I think that's pretty important, right? I wonder if anyone can confirm that he's not getting paid. I remember hearing that there was lots of money offered to Tucker. Right? I wonder. Now, if Fox so much as smears him, besmirches him, shall we say, slanders him, or libels him, does he have a right to say, you have violated the trust, that you've attacked me, and therefore I can do what I want? Right? Is that part of the contract, that if I leave or you fire me, that you can't say bad things about me? But they have. They've done all they can to shit all over this guy. I invite him to fight, because I think Tucker's learning it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about principle. And I am not a Tucker worshiper. I just want people out there having the discussion, the philosophical discussion about what needs to be done and what is happening. I guess we're all going to find out, folks. We'll all find out. Let's do this. Let's move on. I know we've got one more, and I'm right at the last minute. We're counting down, and it's Uman. He says, most people think the president has more power than he does. Unfortunately, it's the bureaucracy that has the real power. Lots of heads to cut off of that snake. I agree with you. The bureaucracy is what does the dirty work for the administration. The interesting thing is that the president can dismantle, dismember, and chop the bureaucracy to pieces. So it's quite an interesting dilemma we all face. So far, we don't have a president that'll get rid of the bureaucracy, and we don't have a bureaucracy that'll obey the command to obey us. And that's just it, folks. They get a little bit of power, and it goes right to their fucking heads. At the smallest, lowest level of government, at your local DMV, you see how people with power treat others. I've been to the DMV and met some very nice people, folks, very helpful bureaucrats. And I've found some to be completely abhorrent and awful. Right? They're all there. But when you see, let's say, two policemen standing over a criminal or a bum or a suspect, and one of them is beating the shit out of them, and the other one is like, stop it, right? In fact, I have a friend who, was abused by the police, law enforcement, and another one stood there and said, there's nothing I can do about this. It's his arrest. It's like, really? You can't stop a false arrest and abuse? That's what bureaucrats are like, folks. The good ones do nothing while the bad ones do all they wish. We've got problems. Chance favors the prepared mind. Are you ready for what's coming? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. Have it together, folks. What's it going to take? It takes a couple of events, a false flag, if you will, and everything can change just like that. If Senator Grassley, if Representative Comer, if Rudy Giuliani and their information is real, and it comes out, and it's released to the public, I think that some crazy shit would happen so that those bastards in power could protect themselves. I guess we'll find out. Folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Is yours. Godspeed. Semper Fi. I'll see you 0 Dark 30 tomorrow.